Hey everyone, welcome back to Rosie, Revere and the Raucous Riveters. In the last chapter we discovered the word raucous means loud and usually very happy. It's usually a positive thing. If people laugh a lot, make lots of noise together, they're raucous. On her notes today, Rosie Revere has written things to do today. Go to archaeology shop with Ada and Iggy. This is sometimes a maths book when it's square or a science book, because sometimes when you're collecting information in science, you need to draw diagrams or make graphs, and square paper is very helpful for that. Chapter 5. Give her a minute, said the tall woman, winking at Rosie. She doesn't even know who we are. She shook Rosie's hand. I'm Letty McAllister, she said, and these are my sisters, Hetty and Betty, and we are musicians. Two women in red waved at Rosie. The woman sitting next to Betty smiled. Rosie and I are old friends, she said. Bernice was Ada Twist's great aunt. She owned the archaeology shop on the town square. It was called Can You Dig It? The shop was full of ancient things from all around the world. Perhaps I can stop for a minute, and if you don't know what archaeology is, somebody in the class can tell you. It's quite interesting, I've just realized, archaeology. And you all know paleontology because lots of you love dinosaurs. So paleontology is the study of dinosaurs. And archaeology, they both end in ology. That'll be something to investigate. I wonder what ology means. So Bernice was Ada's great aunt, and she owned the archaeology shop on the town square. It was called Can You Dig It? And the shop was full of ancient things from around the world. Rosie and Ada and their friend Iggy come visit me all the time. These kids are so full of great ideas and great questions, and I gave them a nickname. I've called them the Questionnaires. Oh, I love that, the Questionnaires, because they ask lots of curious questions. Oh, I like that, said Aunt Rose. The other woman nodded. Rosie liked it too. Visiting the Can You Dig It shop was always an adventure, and Bernice was full of ideas and questions too. She was one of Rosie's favourite people. I have new treasures in the shop, Bernice said. Bring Ada and Iggy to see them. I will, said Rosie. We have another singer in the group, said Betty McAllister. This is Marion, and she sings opera. Wait until you hear it. A pleasure to meet you, said Marion. She was formal and elegant, and she had silvery hair, a strand of pearls around her neck, and a twinkle in her eyes. She smiled at Rosie, and of course, Rosie smiled back. And lastly, said the woman in the wheelchair, I am Eleanor, but you can call me Boss. Everybody does. Because you're bossy, said Letty. I speak plain and I get things done, said Boss. If that makes me bossy, then good. I am too busy getting things done to care. The Riveters all cheered, whee! So they've called themselves the Raucous Riveters. It's kind of like having a little club. Boss smiled. We are the Blue River Riveters, she said, and we worked together in the B-29 factory during World War II. We made a difference back then when it was needed most, and we still do our part. You're the woman in the photo, said Rosie, but where are the others? Oh, that was a long time ago, dear. We've lost many of our friends. So you think, do you know, who knows in the class when World War II was? So if it was the 1940s and late 30s, how many years ago was that approximately? Yeah, so a lot of people that were in World War II aren't around anymore. They're old and maybe they've died. Her voice grew quiet. So many, said Letty. The Riveters raised their coffee mugs with one hand and slapped the table with the other and said, I'll do it with my water bottle, to friends, like saying cheers to friends. Chapter 6. After a moment, Boss slapped the table again. The McAllister sisters let us use their house as their own home. It's your home too, said Betty. We've all known one another so long, it's like we're family. Rosie liked it. She lived with all her aunts and uncles and knew that families come in all different shapes and sizes. We always help one another in emergencies, said Letty. But I'm so curious why Rosie's there. Do you think they're getting to that? Why have they helicoptered Rosie over to their house? Sometimes we get together and we just dance, said Aunt Rose. Yeah, we do, said Hetty. And she tapped out a beat on her coffee mug, and Letty and Betty broke into a zippy song about doing the boogie woogie and jumping the jive, and the Riveters swayed and clapped along. Whack! Boss slapped the table hard and the room went silent. Riveters, have you forgotten our emergency? We have to help June. Sorry, boss, said Hetty, but she didn't look very sorry. I got carried away there dancing and singing. Then get carried right back here, said Boss. You can start by telling Rosie what's going on. Hetty and the Riveters told Rosie about June, the artist of the bunch. During the war, June painted the pictures on the noses of the aeroplanes. Each year since, June painted in an art competition at Blue River Creek Festival. It was the most important event of the year for her. A few months ago, June wrecked her motorcycle and broke both her wrists. She fell off her motorbike and she must have landed on the ground. She broke her wrists. Her wrists are very weak, so she still wears casts. How can she paint with casts? Asked Rosie. Boss stared hard at Rosie. That is up to you. Aunt Rose handed Rosie a flyer. To go. Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Meet in the town library to receive the theme of the contest. 2 p.m. Judging begins. Artists must paint by themselves. Support teams can set up, clean up, and cheer. No electricity can be used. Okay, so at 9:30 in the morning, you get the rules of the competition, but the competition finishes at 2:00 in the afternoon. And it says, no electricity, and only you can paint, but other people can help you set up. I see. Okay, let's stop and predict why they've called Rosie. Turn and talk to your neighbour. Aunt Rose said, June is having a hard time, so we're going to surprise her. It's top secret. We will take turns keeping June busy, then we'll sneak her to the contest without her suspecting anything at all. We'll all do our part, said Boss. Boss's smile faded and she looked squarely at Rosie. What about you, Rosie? Will you do your part? I'm so curious. What are they hoping Rosie will do? Rosie Revere, engineer. Okay, I'll leave this for now. Ready for chapter 7.